A former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oye Ibidapo Obe, says the problem of bad leadership in the country is partly to be blamed on the use of federal character in the appointment of persons to public offices. He argued that with a system where merit had been slaughtered on the altar of federal character, it would be difficult for the country to make much progress. African Affairs analyst Kayode Ogundamisi joins us now via Skype to share his perspectives on this. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, in your opinion, do you think we are working on optimal capacity by adopting this federal character?
I think the federal character principle is very important for the survival of Nigeria. There is an multi-ethnic, multi-religious country. Nigeria nation state was formed as a result of the coalition of different independent states. So the federal character principle is to make sure at least every nook and cranny of the people of Nigeria are represented in federal parastatals, elective positions. So I don't think there's any problem wrong with a federal character as a principle. I think it's the implementation and practice. For example, you can get qualified people from the different ethnic groups or different regions in Nigeria. The problem is people in public office do not appoint the best of those different ethnic groups or different regions in the country. So the problem is not the system, it's the implementation by those who are supposed to implement the federal character principle.
How do you expect a federal character to affect the supply of smart people who one would expect to build the country into what is desired?
We're not short of smart people from all across the country. I mean, it's actually going to be an insult to say a country of 160 million people. And when you divide that by six geopolitical zones, you can find a smart IT person in the north, in North Central, as you can find a smart IT person in Southwest or Southeast region. So we're not in short of supply of smart people. I think there's actually some set areas that we need to actually exempt from the federal character principle. Say areas such as very technical area where you will get the best of anyone from any part of the world. But I think we over-label this principle, politicize it, and that's the problem we have. It's not that there's a dearth or there's a lack in the number of people that can occupy positions from across the country. Say, for example, in the issue of appointing service chiefs by the presidency, you can get qualified people from the different arms of our armed forces representing the 6 geopolitical zones.
Well, in spite of this federal character that you have so approved of now, why do we still have bad leadership, in the country?
Bad leadership are reflective of bad citizenry. We get leaders, we supply leaders from the citizens that are available. I mean, we so much Nigerians so much spend emphasis that leaders are bad, but followers are as well not as good enough as the leaders, because the leadership are products of the society. Because during the election period, people get paid a bag of rice and they sell their votes. And when they vote that person into office, they just go back to their home and they wait for another election cycle. So we need to look at it. Yes, the leadership are bad, but the leadership are supplied from the society. So it's a holistic thing. We as a people must have a change in our mindset and the way we do things, how we queue in fuel station. How come, is it the leaders that are hoarding fuels, are giving artificial scarcity? No. Is it that leader that is driving on the wrong side of the road in a public road? No. Is it that leader that you go to a federal secretariat and people are just whiling away their time rather than being productive for the country? No. So it's a holistic thing. As a society, our country is in short of supply of honest citizens, and if we are in short supply of honest citizens, we can never produce honest leadership.
Right, and some analysts are still saying, criticizing this federal character principle, that despite this in place, we're still experiencing ethnic disturbances practically everywhere. So there's a need to reconsider the principle.
The reason we have ethnic disturbances is not because of the federal character principle.
But it's existing despite the federal character principle.
Yeah, that is because the federal character principle has not been applied in such a way that it will utilize the best of the different people that are supposed to be produced from the different ethnic nationalities or different regions. If you produce the best people of those different ethnic nationalities, they will produce the best system, and the populace will be happy. But what happens is that when those in government are applying federal character principle, they pick their incompetent friends or incompetent associates from the different ethnic nationalities. So that nepotism is eating deep into the federal character principle. So the problem is not the federal character principle, because if you take that away, what you have is anarchy. The problem about the different ethnic clashes is much more deeper. It's the issue of resource control. It's the issue of injustice within the system, whereby people cannot apply for jobs because they do not come from a particular state. We have to look into that. And that also plays into the advantage of the federal character principle, that when you are applying for jobs on every stratus of government, at least at the federal level, all our geopolitical zones must and should be represented to give people a sense of equality. When you have an Hausa president or a Yoruba president, and you say you pick the best of Yoruba people to occupy positions because they are the best of the country, there's no need for federal character principle, then you're going to start having serious issues in the land. And federal character principle is not just limited to Nigeria. Even in the UK or in the US, there's a system where the rights of ethnic nationalities, the rights of the underprivileged are recognized, that they are given a special route to be able to achieve within a society.
All right, there's another perspective to this now. Analysts are also blaming the youths, particularly, for not getting angry enough in the face of bad leadership. I mean, how more angry can they get?
Well, the youths are actually expecting power to just be dropped on their doorstep like a lollipop. They do not realize that in order to get power, in order to influence society, you need to contest elections, you need to participate in the democratic process. Not just contest elections, you need to be an opinion molder, you need to be very active, you need to be able to resist oppression. But they just think by going on social media and shouting on Twitter and just throwing their hands all over the air, things are going to change. No. If Chief Awolowo, Azikiwe, and those young people at the tender age of their 20s, they started fighting, physically protesting, physically holding government to account, they did not just throw their arms in the air, and that was how they captured political power. So the youth recognize that you only capture political power by participating, by belonging to the political process. They would never have any influence.
Kayode would have to rest it here for time, but the question still remains that despite your endorsement of the principle, it's to be wondered why many developed countries not participating in federal character principle are still making progress. But we'll talk about that more in another bulletin. Thank you very much again for your time on the News Hour.
Thanks for having me.